deal. So now, Mr. Rand has to deal with the competing card shop getting 20-something boxes of the latest and most wanted stock and underselling him. All because he wanted. The way Mr. Rand acted is just inexcusable. It's not at all okay, and I think it's fantastic that this guy sold to a competing card shop, and not only sold it to that card shop that's in competition with Mr. Rand, but also told him, hey, here are the cards, but you have to undersell them. That is, to me, a brilliant strategy. Sure, it may be a little petty, but at the end of the day, this guy almost cost him $2,600. That is a huge chunk of change that guy would have had to eat if nobody bought these cards. Thankfully, he was able to find a vendor, and it all kind of worked out in the end. But leave a comment down below. Have you ever had a shady situation like this happen before? This one is probably the most unique way I've ever heard of someone getting out of a traffic ticket. It happened this morning. Even though I made a complete and full stop on a four-way stop, I got pulled over by a police vehicle, lights flashing, the works. I turned my dash cam around to face me and whomever goes in front of the driver's side window. I roll it down and ask, what seems to be the problem, officer? Officer looks at me the way one would look at a sticky piece of gum stuck to the bottom of one's shoe. You didn't make a complete stop, he says. I adjust one of my hearing aids, and before I could speak, he firmly orders, sir, take off your earphones when I'm talking to you. I take both hearing aids off and look at him. I can read lips a little, but we're both masked, so I can't understand what he's saying. I communicate in sign language simultaneously while speaking verbally. I say, I'm deaf, and I didn't understand what you just said. Can you communicate to me in ASL, American Sign Language, please? He points at my hearing aids that look like Apple AirPods, motioning me to put them on. I respond, yes, officer. Without those, I can only communicate in ASL. Please instruct me in ASL, and I will be compliant in every way possible. He looks at the dash cam that's neatly pointed squarely at us and mumbles, oh God. He then motions for me to go, giving me 2 thumbs up. Needless to say, I rolled up the window and drove away as fast and as legally as possible. Couldn't wipe the smile off my face all day. This driver got super lucky. This could have been so much different if that police officer knew ASL and started communicating with him. This would have been a completely different story. At the end of the day, the driver did the right move. When the police officer instructs you to do something, you do it. It's comical that the police officer didn't take just a few more seconds to try and judge what it is that was in this person's ear. Was it really a headphone or was it a hearing aid? At the end of the day, the driver did the best move possible and it worked out in his favor. But what would you have done? Leave a comment down below, let us know. So, I started a new job about 2 years ago and finally found a job I'm naturally good at, which has been amazing as my performance has been top-notch, no disciplinary actions, and even a few awards. So I started helping out my fellow co-workers when they were struggling, and especially helping out the newbies who just got off training, which is garbage generic training for 3 weeks, which literally has nothing to do with our sectors, and we're literally told to forget everything we learned because it does not apply to us. So naturally, the newbies struggle a lot at the start, and that takes the performance for the entire team. So I wanted to be a good team player now that I finally felt like I knew what I was doing. Apparently, that was a mistake on my part. After 3 months of helping my team, I was called into a meeting with our coach to discuss my behavior. I was told that I was not allowed to help my coworkers because I am not trained in that field, and only the higher-ups are supposed to answer questions and make decisions within our job, which would be fine and understandable if the coach was available for the entire 8-hour shift to answer questions and help people, which they are not. I pointed this out along with some statistics that since I started helping out answering questions, our performance has gone up each month, and it helps the newbies feel welcome as they have a non-superior they can ask questions to without worry. Another mistake on my part. Our coach got really angry, and I was basically told that this is how it is, and if I'm caught giving unsanctioned help again, I will receive disciplinary action. Okay, fine. Have it your way then, you sad, pathetic excuse of a human. I screenshotted the conversation, dug up performance reports prior to me helping, during me helping, and for the next 3 months without me helping, and wow, shocker, we started tanking in our performance. So the entire team got called into a big meeting with the higher-ups, our manager and coach, to discuss what on earth earth is going on, and why are we doing so terrible? I let everyone speak and say their piece, and at the end of the meeting, I just asked if I could have 5 minutes of one of the big chief's time, as I think I might have a solution to improve our performance. And he was actually surprisingly interested, so he called me up after the meeting to hear me out, and I told him about the whole situation, showed screenshots, performance results, the whole 9 yards. My dude was visibly shook, a bit lost for words to be honest, but said he really appreciated the input and would look into fixing this internally, and that was that. 3 days later, the coach resigned in search of greener pastures and probably a new job. It's unbelievable that the higher-ups would prevent this guy from helping train the newbies, especially when the training they're receiving is completely useless. It's